Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Tuesday morning yoga therapy. Today we are moving into the hips and second chakra, which is the area of reproduction, creativity, and our very human emotions. So we often hold on to old emotions, new emotions here. So we're going to work with the water element. Inhale, arms coming up. And exhale, palms facing down. I want you to visualize that water element coming down like a shower, like a waterfall, all the way down, front, sides, and back body. Inhale, I want you to radiate like the sun. And of course, you can use a different visualization if you choose. And do this in your own timing, adding Ujjayi Pranayama when you like. I'm doing those palms down, which is more grounding. And I think I'm bringing in a bit of my Tai Chi background from when I lived in China, today being Lunar New Year. Studied Tai Chi with a master there. It's my sole reason for going. My soul with a U, that is. And when I first did this yoga after living in China, I went to India right after. And it reminded me so much of Tai Chi because of the slow moves and the focus on prana or chi in this practice. So I feel a lot of parallels with the Tai Chi or Tai Chi practices. Adding some humming. This humming Brahmari, it's classical practice, believe it or not. It helps lengthen the breath, calms the nervous system. You can scan your body as you do that exhale from the top of your head down to your feet. And I invite you to add Om if you like, your choice. You can just breathe or hum or add Om. Your hands to your heart. If you like, you can bring your hands to that second chakra area, or you could have one hand there and then the other hand on your heart. These are the two areas we tend to hold our emotions. I've actually found, invite you to reflect on this yourself. With my yoga practice, all my feelings of emotions actually moved from the second chakra area to my heart. I usually feel like someone's hit me in the heart when I have some emotional upset now, but think about that, how that is for you. Maybe different emotions hit different places. I'm going to chant to Dhanvantri. He's the healer form of Vishnu. And today I'm going to be focusing on balance and abundance. So with Vishnu comes Lakshmi, this consort. With this balance of Vishnu comes the abundance of Lakshmi. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantaraye Amrita Kalasha Hastaya Sarvamaya Vinashaya Trilokanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantare Amrita Kalashastaya Sarvamaya Vinashaya Trilokanataya Shri Mahavishnave Swaha Swaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantare Amrita Kalashastaya Sarvamaya Vinashaya Trilokanataya Shri Mahavishnave Swaha Swaha. Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. 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 I bow to Vishnu, or I bow to, I link with that cosmic consciousness that links us all together, pervades the whole universe. And when we link with it, we come to a state of ananta, balance, infinite harmony. Not too hard, not too soft, like the snake bed that Vishnu lies on, which is a representation of that balance. And these are the two aspects we work with in the asana practice. Sukha and stiram, stiram and sukham, strength and softness. Inhale, coming up, radiating like the sun. And exhale, feeling that waterfall element. And if you like, bend your knees. And I'm going to bring the hands through the center to connect more with the central channel all the way down through the legs and the feet. Inhale, radiating like the sun. And exhale, letting go, surrendering. Surrendering the will to the greater will, surrendering the little self to the big self, or just simply letting go of your troubles, worries, stresses, however that plays out for you. You can think of it in many, many ways. And yoga is not a religion, it's a philosophy. You can be an atheist, you can be an agnostic, you can believe in a particular form of the divine. I pulled in a Hindu one today, Vishnu, but Vishnu is not limited to Hinduism in my view and many others. Vishnu is an aspect of our experience, balance, that we can link with. Speaking of balance, these balance poses, we're going to do a lot of them today, can bring us physical and mental balance. So just balance here if you can. Balance, as the Taoist philosophy suggests, is not stable. It's actually a moving thing. So I find that very helpful to think about. If you're uncomfortable, you can come down anytime, and when you're ready, you come down. Sometimes that can be a little harder in the morning, especially if you have an imbalance in your hips. We're going to be working on those balances of the hips. Inhale, arms coming up, and you can come up onto the toes or not. We're going to go into the side bend realm. As you come to your left, you can stay on those toes as long as possible and then come down. We're just going to go back and forth. That lower arm you might take down. The arms can be however feels good for them. I know some of you have some injuries, so feel free to, bend the top one, bring the lower one down, stick the hip out if you want to get into more of the hip lower back area. So, and do this in your own timing. You can do it with me, of course, but feel free to do it in your own timing. I'm looking at you just to make sure that you're all right and that you're able to follow what I'm saying. Gives me some feedback as to my teaching, how it's going. I often visualize the full moon in this pose. Today is a new moon, so harder to visualize what a new moon might look like. If something comes to mind, you can play with that. I guess it's very dark. It's usually depicted as being black. Anyway, I'm not going to picture it that way. I'm going to picture it as white. When you're ready, staying on one side, and again, pick the arms that work for you and pick the feet that work for you. So if you want to work more into the hip and the QL area, quadratus lumborum area, you might want to cross one foot over. Now, I like the same foot as the side I'm on. Some people like the opposite, and it's actually taught both ways. So just do whatever feels best for your body. I'm going to pick holding opposite elbows. And I'm going to really stick my hip out so I get into that side of my leg hip. Breathe here. Great one for scoliosis. If you've got some concavity on one side, switching sides when you're ready. Inhale, center, exhale, other side. Take the arms down, of course, at any time. Switch the position. Again, those of you with scoliosis, you might well switch the arms according to the side you're on. So this is your concave side. Your left, you might extend that arm. I know some of you, that's your case. Those hips in alignment and those elbows in alignment if you can, sticking that hip out perhaps. It's hard to breathe deeply. Do your best, at least to exhale with length. Always add that humming if you're having trouble. Inhale, center. Exhale. Okay, let's go into those hips. So we're going to start with the balance pose. Inhale, arms coming up front. Exhale, bring one leg up as you bring your hands to the center. Inhale, opening to the side. So this is right from Chennai, from my teacher, D.V. Sridhar. I'm pretty sure he invented this vinyasa. Exhale, center. It's my last trip. He was teaching every second person this, so we often do that when we invent a new thing. Inhale, kicking back. And exhale, center. So that kick back, showing the other side, is like an Ardha Shalabhasana, a locust standing. Inhale, arms up. Chin down, Jalandhara Bandha. Exhale. Come to the center. Try to move with the core, not the arms and the hands down, if that works for you. Inhale, opening the arms up, opening the hip. Exhale, gather it to the center of pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Inhale, extend back. Exhale, samastiti. Let me cue it one more time and then have you do it on your own. Inhale, arms up. And you can do it on your own now if you like. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in, center. Inhale, opening. Exhale, gather to the center. Inhale, kicking back, extending up. Comfort of your arms, of course. Arch the back. Strengthening the back of the hip. Exhale, centers. This one is for all parts of the hip. Inhale. Exhale, pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Inhale, open up. Preparing for tree pose. Exhale, center. Inhale, kicking back. Exhale, samastiti. Okay, 2 more times on your own. Have fun. Get lost. Just keep breathing and moving. And last round, if you finish before I do, just go into a forward bend. Mainly all with me. We're going to do a forward bend now. If you're in one, just come up in your own time. You're going to cross your left foot behind your right. And we're going to inhale, bring our arms up to the sides just to work with the neck and shoulders a little bit that way. And exhale through the center, that surrendering down. Now, this crossing of the legs, it's working with balance, but you can feel probably that back foot. It's working the same hip. So, and then come up. Sorry, inhale, coming up. This is why it's helpful to have the video. It's like, oh, I have to tell you to come up. Exhale, waterfall down. So feel that stretch in your left hip where the foot that's back, that hip. Inhale, radiating like the sun coming up. And if you like, you can add that humming sound. As you exhale. It's very helpful to add sound if you have trouble exhaling. That's why Krishnamacharya and Desigacharya started using it therapeutically. Also helps focus the mind. If your mind is ruminating over a problem that you're holding on to in that second chakra area or your heart, adding sound can be very helpful. So it's, you can think of it as a mental distraction. Distracts the mind from thinking about its problems, thinking about something neutral. It's comfortable staying at the bottom, and I forgot to mention, of course, you can do this with your hands at a chair, hands on blocks. This is too much to stay, just keep it moving. You can stay just feeling that deep stretch into the hip. You ready? Coming out slowly. Come to Samastiti. Hopefully that felt okay in your knees. If there are any problems in your knees, just adjust the feet. The crossing, the other side. Oops, to the same side. It's always interesting when your body does that. Inhale. I'm curious what I'm going to find on this side I was resisting. Exhale, feeling that waterfall. Inhale, radiating like the sun, the rising sun. Feeling your arms going through that radiance around the center of the heart. Exhale, the waterfall connecting with the pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in that second chakra area from the ground all the way to the power center of the belly button. Inhale, connecting with the heart, the throat, the third eye at the top of the head. And you can keep this going, or if it's comfortable after repeating 4 to 6 times, just stay at the bottom and there's the sun. And feel that stretch in that right hip now. If it's too much, you can try moving the upper back up and down. You can have your hands on a chair or a table, it's much easier. For some shoulder issues, you might bring your hands behind you. That's hard balance-wise, but you can try that, everyone. Actually, it's a good balance exercise. So I know 2 of you with your shoulders, you actually feel better with your shoulders drawn together, your shoulder blades, and your shoulders rolled back rather than forwards. So inhale, coming up. When you're ready, sorry I added the arms, but you didn't have to. I felt the sun rising behind me. Exhale, release. All right, so notice how you feel. We're going to do one leg at a time after that. Now you could do the one leg at a time as a preparation for what I just did. Depends on your body. Yeah, I just want to let you know that it might be better to do this first. So left foot forward, right foot turned out. That would be another sequencing choice. All right, so we're going to work on one hip at a time. I'm going to add a warrior to this. Inhale, arms at the side. This is for the next shoulder folks in the room. There's a lot of you. Really open those shoulders, open the heart. Feel that sun shining at the heart center, that emotional heart center. Exhale, let's get into the emotional gut. Pelvic floor, lower belly, belly button in. Now feel the stretch of the leg. And we're going to stay here one breath. Inhale, arching the back. Exhale, twist your body to your left or the outside of your foot if it's your left foot. Inhale, coming to the center, arch your upper back. Exhale, bring your hands to the right, the inside. And if you're on the other leg, just do the opposite. Inhale, center. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, we're going to go right away into that warrior, arms at the sides. Opening the heart like a flower, like the radiating sun. Exhale, water falling down. Again, if you've got those shoulder issues, you could bring your hands to your lower back, sweep them behind. Otherwise, down at the floor. Inhale, sthiti, arch the upper back. Exhale, come to your left. Feel a stretch in the right hip as you do this. And the quadratus lumborum QL into the lower back. Inhale, center, arch the spine, up, sthiti. Exhale, other side. This is also wonderful for scoliosis, but feel how it affects the hips. Even the inside, you feel the groin area, the inner thigh. Inhale, center. Keeping the breath fairly short here. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, coming up. I'm going to do this 2 more times. I think my speed is okay for all of you, I think. Okay, let's keep doing it together. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, center. Exhale, twist left. Feel that stretch in the right hip. Inhale, center, arching back up. Exhale, other side. Feel the inner thigh groin stretch here. Inhale, center. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, coming up. We're going to do last time, 4th time. You could do this 6 times if you like, if you're practicing at home later. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lengthen, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. Inhale, center. Exhale, forward bend, and now stay here and breathe. Or keep it moving side to side if you prefer. Or you could stay on one of those sides where you felt like, oh, I really want to stretch that area. So feel free to stay on one side, especially with those imbalances of the hips or the back. Feel one side's very, very tight. For those hamstring injuries, you might be bending that front knee, of course. When you're ready, come up without any arms. And step back. Samastiti. And right foot coming forward, left foot turning out. Inhale, warrior 1, arms at the side. Feeling that sun shining at the heart. And you're also stretching that back hip. Psoas, we're going to go more into the psoas next week. That's a whole nother topic. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, arch the back. Center. Exhale, come to your right. Feel the stretch in your left hip and lower back. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Feel the stretch in your groin, inner thigh area, maybe down to your calf, even if you're tight. It's a hard area to stretch. Inhale, center. Exhale, forward bend. Inhale, coming up, warrior one with the arms at the sides. And we're going to keep going. I'm going to leave you on your own. I think you've probably got it now. So do it 3 more times. When you're done, come to samastiti. Breath fairly short for this one. 4 seconds, inhale, exhale. Remember to stay in the forward bend in the last one after you do your 4th. Bring in the Bhāvana, the visualization of the sun. Inhale, the water, exhale, if that works for you. And you might be going into around your 4th if your time is about the same as mine. You finish before, no problem. Just go to samastiti and rest. And after your 4th one, just stay in one of the positions or a couple of positions and breathe for 4 to 6 breaths. It's really stretching the front leg and then its connection with the 2 sides of the hip. Just noticing any imbalances. And if you haven't finished, consider coming out. And notice how you feel. You feel quite grounded after all those forward bends, but you probably feel a little bit more on one leg versus the other. The back foot, that leg, you're probably feeling that one a bit more. So let's even that out through Utkatasana. We're going to do simple version to begin, and with this group here a little more advanced than some of my other groups. We're going to go into the full pose. Inhale, arms at the side, radiating like the sun, and exhale, I want to just start by hugging a tree. This is the art of Utkatasana with this arm movement to bring in the Bhāvana of a tree with the roots. And inhale, actually you can visualize the sun, but you can also visualize the branches of the tree maybe budding into leaves soon. It feels that way. It's not quite spring, but it's the beginning, it's coming. Exhale, feeling the trunk of the tree and feeling the roots, the land. I invite you to bring in a land acknowledgement at this point in the territory, nation where you live. You know, if you're internationally placed, if there's an indigenous culture that you could acknowledge where you live, play, and work. This is great for the knees, great for the hips. And just finishing up, we're going to do a strengthening version of this before we do full pose. I invite you to take a block and put it between your thighs or a pillow. You can do this at the wall if you prefer. So actually, I'm going to show it at the wall because with the wall, you can actually work on the strength piece of this a bit more. So you can do this in the center of the room, but if you have a wall available, just slide down that wall halfway and put that block. I've also done a bolster, which is harder. It takes it all the way to the feet. If you're working with weak ankles or your feet tend to be a bit imbalanced because of injuries, you can try that. Some of you, I think any of you have an ankle injury, but that's a good one for ankle injuries. And if you can just stay here, it's a bit hard, but as you exhale, squeeze that block or pillow. It's actually quite nice with a pillow because you can really squeeze it a bit more in. And then inhale, release. And exhale, squeeze. Inhale, release. So this is working those adductors, those inner thigh muscles. Add the arms if you like. We're in Ardha Utkatasana. Inhale, arms up to your place. Exhale, squeeze. This one I like to actually think of the downward flow of energy, squeezing from the belly button all the way down to the feet. So a little bit different breath pattern. Exhale, belly button, lower belly, belly button in, squeeze the thighs, feel the lower legs and the feet. This one's great for you with hamstring injuries. Strengthen the hamstrings and the thighs. Exhale, belly button in, lower belly, pelvic floor, squeeze the thighs, knees, feel the lower legs, feet. Inhale up. Exhale, belly button, lower belly, pelvic floor, thighs, lower legs, feet. Last time, inhale. Might be shaking about now. Exhale, belly button in, lower belly, pelvic floor, inner thighs, lower legs, feet. Inhale, arms up, and then we're going to go into a forward bend and straighten those legs. You can release that block, bolster, whatever you have, and just go into a forward bend and rest. Nice to do this with the pelvis on the wall. Allows most people to get a little bit deeper forward bend. And ready, come up. Knees. Oh, and you should really feel your legs and feet now. So that one's legs and feet. Okay, we're going to skip the full Utkatasana. Could do that on your own later. That one's, it gets a bit more into the lower back actually. So we're going to work on tree pose now. And you can do this at the wall if you like. You can stand at a wall for balance and work that way. But I'm going to show in the center. You'll be able to see me better. So you're going to bring your left foot up and just start with your toes on the ground and then turn your foot out and really pull up on that standing leg. So that's the first step, is just this. And for some people, that's going to be enough. Your students might be holding on to a chair or a wall. A lot of teachers in the room, so these are good modifications. And then you can start bringing your foot up to a place that works for you. I'm just going to go just below the knee. You don't want to put pressure exactly on a joint, so feel free to come all the way up. That doesn't work for my body, but it does for you. Feel free. And really work on drawing the glutes towards each other. Work on that external rotation. We prepared for this in a vinyasa earlier. Some beautiful tree poses. And if you like, adding those arms up. And if you want, for Bhāvana purposes, you can even extend the branches out. You might do this for your shoulders as well. You might like to feel that expansiveness of the tree. Keep trying to draw your glutes towards each other, work on that external rotation, and really pull up on that standing leg. And you could do this at a wall behind you for stability, a chair in front for more stability, and foot lower down. When you're ready, release that. Try to do that all at the same time. I had a little loss of balance there. And then the other side, this is a very hard pose for my body, pulling up on that standing leg and turning the other foot out. And then again, that might be your pose. And if it works, start bringing the foot up the leg, really press the foot into the standing leg. It's particularly true when it's higher up at the groin. So feel free to bring it all the way up, hands at the heart if you like. Keep pulling up on that standing leg, that glute med. So important for fall resistance. I always feel like this pose works the standing leg more. And then try to use those glutes to draw the opening in the knee. Adding your arms if you like, inhale up. Exhale, stay. And if you like, opening up those branches. See if you can lengthen the breath at all. Try to stay 4 to 6 breaths. And when you're ready, coming down together if you can. And one breath as you exhale, release. Inhale, arms coming up. Radiating like the sun. Exhale, forward bend, Utkatasana. Sorry, Uttanasana. And it's comfortable coming from here into child's pose. And consider doing a wide knee version, getting into the groin area again. Feel free to add a block or two under the belly or a bolster. And this presses the belly towards the lower back, which gives the lower back more support. This is if your belly doesn't go to the floor. You bring the floor up to you with blocks or pillows or blankets.
So this is a groin version that Mr. Iyengar created, modification of classical where the legs are parallel. The knees are apart, feet together, and you can, some people even turn the feet out, which is more intense. When you're ready, stand up. We do not usually teach seated poses in yoga therapy classes, but this particular group, I think you can handle it. So I'm going to add a few props. You might use a chair for this. We're going to go towards Jana Shirshasana, which is supposed I have not taught in years in yoga therapy class. But this group, I'm pretty sure can handle it. I'm going to sit on a block and show actually side views. You can see a bit better. See a little bit better. Angle my camera down a bit. So we set up for that. If you in your forward bend, you can use a chair. You can reach towards a chair. Okay, should help. You could have your back at the wall as well. Okay, so we usually start with the left leg straight out and the right hip bent. In our tradition, anyway. There you go. So hopefully you've prepared for this rotation. I'm just going to show, so this is my easy side. All right, so your pose might be just this, okay? And for some people, you're going to put a blanket or a block under the knee. Okay, so feel free to do that. And then from here, it's better to show front, inhale, come up, and exhale. Keep your back nice and long, upper back, as you contract the belly. Okay, so you're gonna have a little rounding in your lower back, but you're keeping your back nice and long, coming forward to your place. Now you can bend that front knee as a modification. You can put a blanket underneath. Inhale, coming up, arms in front. Exhale, forward bend, modified, arms can come to the sides. You can do that sun movement with the arms. Inhale, arms to the sides. I often do this pose that way. Classically, it's overhead, palms facing down. Now you should be pretty warm now. I'm going to my back block here. After repeating 4 times, you're going to stay wherever that is for you. And inhale, arch the back up. Exhale, forward bend. So again, this pose might not be for everyone. I'm going to say some more modifications. You could be sitting on a bench. It's a little hard in chair, but on a bench or a bed, and sitting on a bed, and that bottom foot, you could cross underneath. Okay, so you guys just stay in your pose, but I'm going to talk about the yoga therapy things here. You could be sitting on a bed and coming forward to your place. You can try those stretches side to side we worked on in the standing forward bend, one-sided forward bend, Parshva Uttanasana. For some of you, this will feel very good in your hips, lower back, to do that kind of movement, whether you're in a chair, on a bench or a bed, or on the floor. You always have that front knee bent. I don't usually teach these in group yoga therapy because a lot of my students can't do them, but this group you can, so I'm going to respect that. Inhale, coming up when you're ready, and we're going to do the other side. So for me, there's a huge difference between right and left because of my scoliosis, so I definitely have to prop up my other side. So if that's the case for you, feel free. Inhale, arms coming up. Exhale, forward bend. Again, you can bend that front knee. Inhale up, that bottom foot can come underneath. So in my situation, you can see how the knee comes down when I do that. Got a knee sticking up. I personally like the blanket under my hip the best. You can also put a face cloth underneath your ankle, a rolled face cloth to keep the foot from pronating. And when you feel ready, after 4 to 6 times, stay in the pose, maybe do some sthiti. The more therapeutic concerns you have, the more bending happens, the more props happen. And if you don't have those concerns, then you get rid of those props. So that's how yoga therapy works. We don't modify for the sake of modifying, we modify simply to give more access to the practice and to work with our challenges in our body mind. Feel that side to side movement if you want. For example, I find it very helpful with my right leg extended to come to the right to stretch into the tightness in my left hip. Because of my scoliosis, it's a spinal problem. I can't fix it, but I can work with it so I don't have chronic pain, which I rarely do anymore. I have little bouts, usually during stressful times. And stress is a very relative thing. Happens when we don't think we can handle a situation. When you feel ready, coming up. And I wanted to show this today because this is how I prepare to sit for my pranayama meditation. Do one more pose as a counter. Bhāvana. On the Sunday class, you can see the video. This is done in supha, lying down, but with you, I'm going to do it seated. Something I don't do much in yoga therapy, but let's go for it. So inhale, so you can just sit here. You can prop up each knee. Just quickly, yoga therapy pieces is you can prop up your knees so you have an even external rotation as you come down. It will literally block you from going too much on one side or the other. And I like to add this forward bend a lot, so it stretches my lower back and the lowest part of the back, the L5-4 area, in ways that nothing else can. Exhale down, inhale up. You can add arms if you like. I like the side arms. Or just stay. This pose is usually done just staying. I like to inhale, add that sthiti, lengthen the spine. Exhale, forward bend. These two poses, Janashirshasana and Baddha Konasana, and then Mahamudra, which is the next one, I'll perhaps bring that in next week, are used for female reproductive health and male reproductive health for that matter, especially women. And they're great for mind emotions. You can just stay in the pose if you like. If you're at home doing this video later, you would do your pranayama now. We're going to end with a chanting meditation. That is how I generally end my practice, my personal practice. If I want to sit cross-legged, because after doing that, my body lets me sit cross-legged. Otherwise, I'm in Vajrasana, which is in doing classes often. So this is when I'm like, oh, my hip's okay. So let's just end with the Dhanvantri chant.
the doctor of wellness. Bringing that balance, that healing to the triloka, the three lokas. The physical plane, the mental plane, and the subtle body plane, which is more energetic and beyond. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Dhanvantare Amrita Hastaya Sarvamaya Vinashaya Trilokanataya Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. Invite you to chant this mantra, Shri Mahavishnave Namaha. 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 Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Stay. Namaskaram, as we say in South India. Bow to that in you, which is the same as that in me, the same as that in all. That conscious link between us.